Republican leaders urging Donald Trump to get back on message now and to focus on Hillary Clinton's record. I want to talk about this with Matt Schlapp. He's a chairman of the American Conservative Union, who is a former political director for President George W. Bush, and Bill Kristol, the editor of the Weekly Standard. Gentlemen, thanks for coming in this evening. Matt, you first. It's been a rocky few days for the Trump campaign. The poll numbers in key battleground states show it. Clinton now leads Trump by 9 points in Michigan, 13 points in Pennsylvania, 15 points in New Hampshire. It's 96 days to go. How does he turn this around?
You know, I'm a veteran of 2 presidential campaigns. You have times when you just have terrible weeks, and I think it's fair to say Donald Trump has had a bad 7 or so days. And at these moments, people start to panic. You have to field all these phone calls from people, oh my God, oh my God. But I think it's fair to say that every poll shows the same thing, which is the number one issue for the American voter is jobs and the economy, followed closely by the fact that they're concerned about our national security with the rise of Islamic terrorism. And the third problem is I think Washington is broken. And what's funny in a lot of these polls that have happened over the course of the last 3 months is Donald Trump often leads in all 3 of those important issue areas. And what he did over the course of the last 7 days is he didn't talk about those 3 issues. He talked about all these other extraneous issues. And when you do that in politics, you send confusing messages to voters. And now we're seeing it play out in these polls. If he gets back on the main message of the economy, fighting terrorism, taking on a broken Washington, and explaining how Hillary Clinton is not equipped to fix any of those problems, I still think this is a race that he can win.
Okay. Bill, you're out with a new article for the Weekly Standard. It's titled Panic Among Chickens. Here's what your message is to your GOP brethren now panicking over Donald Trump. You say they should get no credit for whining to the press and complaining to their peers so long as they continue to support for president the individual who is the very cause of their whining, their complaining, and their panic. The only act they should get credit for is withdrawing their support for the candidate. If they were to do so as late in the day as we are, many things are still possible. After this week, are you saying to your party, I told you so? Is that what's going on?
No, but I still think there's hope. I mean, I think, look, Matt is right that if you just look at the issues, there's plenty of room for a Republican to win this year. People aren't happy with the economy under President Obama. There's plenty of criticism to be made of his foreign policy to Secretary Clinton's. But Matt's wrong. The top issue when you vote for president is the candidate I'm considering voting for capable, qualified, fit to be president? And the voters are concluding, correctly, unfortunately, that Donald Trump is not it's not qualified, and therefore they can dislike Obama's economy, they can dislike Clinton's not telling the truth about the evil, they can dislike all kinds of things about the Democrats. They're not going to vote for Donald Trump, and they're right not to vote for Donald Trump, because the number one thing you do have to think about when you go into the voting booth is this person I'm voting for qualified, fit to be president of the United States? That's what's so disappointing for a conservative or Republican like me about this year. It was a winnable election. It's not winnable under Donald Trump. I say that with I think that's true, and I'm reassured that the American public, seeing the real Donald Trump, that's what we've been seeing for the last week. Mm-hmm. It's not like he's off message. This is the message. Donald Trump is Donald Trump. Matt? He is the message, and he's an unacceptable message.
The problem with what Bill is saying is that we went all across this country and had primaries and caucuses. And I'm a conservative like Bill is a conservative, and conservatives dominate the primary process on the Republican side. And they gave Donald Trump more votes than anybody who's ever run for the Republican nomination before. I have to have some humility over the fact that this is the choice that Republicans made.
They made a horrible mistake,
And I don't think
Matt.
that qualifications, but I think that qualifications come down to some very basic questions about the Constitution. And then after that, we're having an ideological conversation about the direction of the country. I don't know how you could do anything that helps Hillary Clinton get into that Oval Office.
Because Donald Trump is more dangerous. I'm not for Hillary Clinton. I'm against both of them, and I think we'll still see a chance, hopefully, to have other candidates emerge. It's not too late. It's getting awfully late, and it would have been a lot less late 2 months ago if all these cowardly and pathetic Republicans hadn't decided, oh, gee, I know better.
So, Bill, but if it's not too late, then who's a
right?
Well,
I mean, come on.
It's a big country. Lots of people can come forward. They can still get on the ballot in some states and have write-ins and others.
I mean, do you have a name?
I know of a couple of people who are very seriously considering it, but I'm not going to I'll let them announce. I wish Mitt Romney would do it. I wish senior people would do it who wouldn't have such a difficulty getting publicity.
But we had 17. Here's the thing.
I'm sorry. We had 17.
This is what's
and Donald
fundamentally
Trump,
flawed here is that
it's nothing flawed.
we went all around the country with 17 candidates. and Donald Trump beat them all, Bill. And so why would we at the very end say, oh, my God, this is some kind of a fluke that happened out of nowhere and we got to find someone new? What it is,
Go ahead, Bill.
it's a fundamental screw you to the voter if you do that.
It was a fundamental mistake for the Republican Party, not a majority, but a plurality of Republican voters to nominate Donald Trump. People are seeing that now. It's a free country. People are entitled to run as independents. But again, let me talk about these Republican office holders. Obviously, Trump's the nominee. I'm not challenging that. Why did these Republican office holders feel they had to do what they know is wrong? And they'll tell you it's wrong in private. But in public, they felt they had to go along. They had to bend the knee. Paul Ryan, a man I respect very much, why is he even pretending to support Donald Trump?
Hey, well, quickly, let me get
he
this
doesn't
in there.
think Donald Trump should be president of the United States.
I want to play this. This is Paul Ryan today. Listen to this.
None of these things are ever blank checks. That goes with any situation in any kind of race. But right now, I just think it's important that the voters, he won the delegates. He won the thing fair and square. It's just that simple.
But he's also suggesting that his endorsement is not concrete as well. But go on.
No, I'm just saying he won the delegates. Fine, I'm not criticizing that. He's the Republican nominee. Paul Ryan is an individual. He's an American. He has to make a decision. Am I comfortable? Do I think it's the right thing for the country to support Donald Trump? I believe Paul Ryan in his heart knows Donald Trump should not be president, but he's made a bunch of calculations, some of them for good motives.
I've got to go, Matt.
He also knows Hillary Clinton shouldn't be president. That's what it comes down to.
That's why we need a third choice.
Clint Eastwood, known for his bluntness, both on screen and off, but what he says about American society and the November election may still come as a surprise. We'll be right back.